Hi! To start off, the TOK exhibition is a project where you will aim to demonstrate how TOK manifests in the real world. The first thing that you will have to do is choose a prompt provided by your teacher and 3 objects that relate to the prompt. The commentary must identify the object and its context and justify its inclusion in the exhibition. It cannot exceed 950 words and is recommended that you include a short introduction. The exhibition is moderated by the IB but assessed by your teacher, and you will have 1 opportunity for teacher feedback prior to submitting. You must include proper citations and references. For example, I use the EasyBib add-on in Google Drive, and the exhibitions will be displayed to the school community. In my exhibition, I address the question, how important are material tools in the production or acquisition of knowledge? I chose the patent for the first nuclear magnetic resonance scanning machine by Raymond Madian because thanks to this tool, physicians and scientists are now able to diagnose conditions with enhanced knowledge of anatomy and physiology and has spearheaded the acquisition of new ideas.
Hi, I'm Nathaniel Chu, a full IB student graduating in 2022. Let's talk about what exactly a theory of knowledge exhibition prompt is. Simply put, the TOK prompts are questions about knowledge. They don't change from year to year, so the lists of prompts that I chose from will be the same for you. They're diverse, but one thing that they all have in common is that they encourage students to make connections between the abstract concepts taught in TOK class and the real, tangible world. For example, I chose the prompt, can new knowledge change established values or beliefs? Keywords in the prompt, such as established values and beliefs, are explored further in the course. With the exhibition, your job will be to take the concepts in the prompt and show how they can manifest in real life. For my exhibition, I did this using a picture of a person that I saw in the news, a book that I own, and this screenshot from a music video. In fact, this screenshot was actually the starting point of my exhibition. I felt that it embodied the way I wanted to answer the prompt I chose. It links to the prompt by exemplifying the most extreme circumstances in which new knowledge changes all of the character's pre-established values and beliefs. But which prompt should you pick? Well, at least in my case, it was easier for me to start with the objects I wanted to use and then choose a prompt that fit them well, rather than do it the other way around. In full honesty, it will depend on how you, as a thinker and as a knower, like to make connections between your thoughts and the world around you. Next, a fellow IB student of mine will explain the concept of objects that I've mentioned in more depth.
Hi, my name is Dia, and I'm going to explain the objects you'll use in your exhibition. You can basically choose almost anything, whether it's physical or digital. It can even be something of your own, like a painting or photograph, as long as it's pre-existing and wasn't made specifically for the exhibition. At the same time, though, you want something that speaks for itself and isn't generic. It should exist in a particular time and place. The first object that made the cut for my own exhibition was this job posting. I did some research on a pretty broad idea I got from a conversation with my dad, and it led me to someone's rant on their blog about this specific posting. Honestly, a job posting was probably the last thing I expected to include, but I ended up loving the way it fit with my prompt. Next, I had this tweet from Christian Walker, and this tweet was literally just something I came across because it blew up online. I was confused on whether I'd be allowed to include this in my exhibition because adding something that I saw on social media didn't feel super IB. If anything, though, the way I found this object proves that TOK manifests itself around us in the real world. Lastly, I have this image recognizing the recipients of a Nobel Prize, which they got for the discovery of insulin. I got this specific idea from a conversation with a friend. If you talk about the exhibition with friends, just remember that you're not allowed to have the same object as someone else in your class. So be careful about brainstorming with someone who chose the same prompt as you. That's all from me. Good luck with your exhibition.
Hey everyone. This section of the video will talk about referencing, something that's often overlooked, but something that's really important because it's found in all your IB assessments and who knows later on as well. So just learning it, getting it over with, and just doing it properly every time is really important. So for me, for my TOK essay, my question was, what role does imagination play in producing knowledge about the world? And so I chose this portrait as one of my examples, like how the real event and the portrait are very different, and that's partly imagination producing knowledge. Now, when I chose this portrait, I didn't realize, but there's 7 different copies of this portrait being made. So in my reference section, I wrote oil on canvas, which specifies which exact portrait it was of the 7. So little considerations like that are really important for referencing. One of my objects was something that I had in real life. So it was my water bottle. And so to reference that water bottle, I had to say, if you look at the very first example right here, that's my a student ID number. So that's what I use to reference something that I had in person. So it's important to note that you have to reference everything, even if it's something that you create, in terms of like, oh, I took a photo of a bottle.
Hi, my name is Chris, and my prompt was, how might the context in which knowledge is presented influence whether it is accepted or rejected? I selected the presented Wikipedia article because of the personal significance it had to me. My friend Sam Lowe had edited the Lillian Osborne Wikipedia page to highlight his own contributions to the school reputation. Not only the above math contest, but his role on the school's cross-country team in 2019. The reason I chose this prompt is not only because it has some personal significance to me, and therefore made it easier to come up with one of the ideas for my exhibition, but also because it highlights the aforementioned research question. Many of you may find it useful to use an example like Wikipedia, because the information presented may or may not be credible depending on the perspective you see it from. It opens up a lot of doors for possible discussion and ideas, which allows you to get past the hardest part of the exhibition, brainstorming. In the context of my own exhibition, it helped me explain how Wikipedia, while a great source of preliminary information, is disregarded on academic papers because of something similar to what my friend did. Hopefully that gives you a better idea on what the exhibition is about and offers you an example that you may use in your own exhibition.